Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV, and this is another episode of what we like to call the Redmond Roundup, the series that everyone loves, probably the best series on this channel, let's be fair. I think it's the best because the Redmond's army love it the most, therefore we keep it going, we keep it bringing. Obviously, I do some live streams now on my YouTube, but don't worry, this is going to stay like the edited thing, and just always keep in mind, it's always in date, so like whenever I record this, it's literally posted about an hour, no more than 2 hours later. So just know it's up to date, it's on time, and it's on your service, so don't you worry. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe to James Redmond TV if you haven't already. Also, shout out to the 3 most recent subscribers to join the Redmond's army, absolute legends, and obviously the 14,000, however many of you else who have subscribed over the time and the course of this YouTube channel. But the topics that I'm going to be talking about today are on the screen. I'm going to start putting them on the screen for you because I just feel like that's a bit more fair. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, same things usual. We talk through a bit of news. I won't be answering any comments today just because I do need to get through this video quite quick. But we are going to be predicting the Premier League games that are taking place this weekend. So without wasting any more time, let's just get into it and let's get into some fucking news. So you're on to the way it's been a bit of a Debbie Downer to be a Liverpool fan recently, just purely for the fact that of the injuries, not the results per se, because the results, bar Aston Villa, have actually been alright. But this is actually some good news, and I am going to be talking about Van Dijk and stuff in a bit. But first off, I want to talk about Thiago and Keita, because in my West Ham preview, people were saying to me, wait, James, is Thiago fit? Are you sure? Like, you're 100% sure? And I am sure that he is going to be fit. Does that mean I am 100%? Not really, but I am sure he will be fit. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp hasn't said anything concrete. The same news with Naby Keita as well. He actually talked about both of them in the same breath. And he was saying, basically, that he just doesn't rule them out. He's saying that they're doing well in training, they're playing good, but he's not going to say if they're going to play or not, because let's be honest, that exposes quite a bit about his tactics, you know what I mean? So I'm happy he's keeping it disclosed, and we know Jurgen Klopp likes to keep shit up his sleeve. It's inevitable, it's what he does. That's just how he acts. That's the way he is with the press. He doesn't need to offer anything more to them. And why should he? He's the manager of the Liverpool fucking football club, mate. And on to our opponents, which is West Ham United, Moyes has also had some injury updates. And don't get me wrong, with what Liverpool are going through, I don't wish injuries upon anyone. But it's nice to know that this player is injured. His name is Antonio, or at least he'll be missing the game. I make it sound quite sadistic when I say I'm made up that he's injured, but you know what I mean. With the fact we haven't got a Fabinho available for this game, with the fact obviously Van Dijk isn't available, that means we're probably going to have to call upon a Reece Williams. Again, go and watch my West Ham preview, my lineup prediction, my score prediction. I'll give one away. I did say Reece Williams to start tomorrow, purely based on the fact that he is the only other centre-back besides Joe Gomez at the club. And people are saying bring in Hendo and stuff like that. But why bring Hendo at centre-back when you're taking everything good he does in midfield away? That's just my opinion. But without talking about centre-backs too much, it's just nice to know that Antonio, who definitely would have been driving towards Reece Williams or Joe Gomez or whoever in that game, because he's an explosive attacker. He likes to go forward. He likes to drive. Therefore, it's good to know he's out of this game. So that's just a little update on a few of them players. Now, I just want to quickly update you on Virgil van Dijk. You know, he's been out of action over recent weeks. And unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you know why. It's because Pickford took him out in the derby. But finally, something's came out. Liverpool have came out about Virgil van Dijk. They gave us an update and they've said he's completed his surgery on his ACL. Now, this doesn't mean he's back. It doesn't mean he's made some superhero, you know, return to football. It just means he can finally start rehabilitation, which is one step better than what it was yesterday. So can we just take that as a positive? Listen, we need to accept he's gone now. Like, I know it's so hard to let go. And like Jurgen Klopp said, it'll be like when a missus has to wait for a fella when they're in prison. Wait, that is not what he said. That's not what he said. Wait, actually, it might have been what he said. I think I actually had that reaction when I read it as well. Let me know, is that what Jurgen Klopp said about Virgil van Dijk? Because I think it was. Either way, you get the point that I'm trying to say. We will wait for him. Believe me, there will be a spot there for when he's back. But just for right now, we need to just focus on now, here, and let's just be glad that he's finally on to the next step of coming back. Now we move on to something that I'm personally not too happy about, and I'm very intrigued to see what you've all got to say about this in the comments down below. But obviously there's been updates and reports suggesting that Origi might not be happy at Liverpool. Now, again, I don't know what you think, and I feel like the Liverpool fans are very split on Divock Origi. I feel like everyone likes him. I feel like everyone loves him. I feel like a lot of people's best moments in their life have came due to the man that is Divock Origi. If you ask me, I would say I would want to keep him at Liverpool FC purely based on the fact he's our only number 9. But can you blame him for really being upset because he was missed out of the triple substitution against Ajax? He gets put out on the left-hand side week in, week out, which is a bit confusing to me personally. Obviously, I'm not the manager, and Jurgen Klopp knows way more about football than I do. But if you just take into perspective, Minamino came into the club as a winger, Origi came into the club as a striker. Predominantly, they played their best time. You know, Origi's a goal poacher, Minamino's quick and skillful. And you put Minamino centrally and Origi on the left wing. I'm not sure about that, me personally. He played 34 times last season, but didn't really start any of them games, so you can't really class it. And with the Euros upon the horizon, and the fact he's 25, he's going to want to try and get back into the picture, mate. You just can't, and you can't fault him for that. So if you ask me, I am okay with Divock Origi leaving Liverpool if that's what he wants and if that's what Jurgen Klopp wants, as long as you've got a backup replacement there and ready. But with the fact that we've got other priorities like a backup centre-back and a backup goalkeeper, I feel like that we need to focus on them areas more than the backup striker, unless you've already got someone lined up. That's my view on it. I'm very interested to see what you've all got to say about it in the comments down below. But now on to the next piece of news, and it's actually not news, it's a fun fact. Karius is still yet to play for Union Berlin. Union Berlin is in the Bundesliga. Karius has just joined them on loan. And he still is yet to play a game for them due to the fact that they've got a starting goalkeeper who's 34. His name's Luth. And yeah, good man like Luth. It's just not good for Karius. It doesn't look like he's going to overtake him anytime soon. But you never know. Maybe man like Luth could make a mistake and Karius can take his place. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen again for Loris Karius. But anyway, enough shitting on Loris Karius because he tried his best, you know what I mean, mate? And it's like, it's heavy what happens at Liverpool, but it is what it is. But moving into some more transfer news. Now, I was just touching on centre-backs briefly there, and I want to touch on them again, because we're linked with fucking so many of them. There's been links coming out about David Alaba from Bayern Munich recently. Now, I am interested in this link, and I hope there's actually a little bit of substance, if you ask me personally. Because if you're talking about a fourth choice, well, he wouldn't really be a fourth choice. He could actually compete for first, but when you put it into perspective that, you know, he's done really well at Bayern Munich. He's just turned down a contract, by the way, at Bayern Munich, which is actually weird because Thiago had the same sort of, saga with Bayern Munich, didn't he? And now Alaba's not signing a new contract and he's linked with who, what and where. So I would take him. I'd take him because obviously the money would be cheaper. We don't want to spend much money. He's only 28. He's versatile. He can play left back. He can play centre back. I'd like this deal. I want to know what you think, Reds, in the comments down below. I don't think it'll happen, but I'd like this deal. And then moving on to the next link. Man like Gurey, he's from Valencia. He's Argentinian. You'll probably know him from FIFA. He's slow as fuck, but his defending stats are always good. He's been on it for time. But either way, I've not watched him loads in real life, but I've know enough about football in general to know he's a good defender. But the fact that he's 34 and there's just better options is what I'm trying to say. I don't think we should be going for that. And I know we need a fourth choice bad, but I don't know if I want to be diving into the La Liga for 34-year-old centre-backs who are Argentinian. Nothing to do with the fact he's Argentinian, literally just for the fact he's 34 and he's from the La Liga. I just don't think it's the smartest move. Look at Thiago Silva, who's just 2 years older than Gray, and look how dog shit he looks in the Prem. Or at least so far, dog shit he looks in the Prem. But anyway, last piece of transfer news before we move on. Centre-backs shortlisted for Liverpool Football Club. So, obviously, one of my more recent videos, we've been linked with Ozan Kabak from Schalke, but they're looking like they're dying down a little bit, them talks, so I will keep you updated on that. And the other four that are shortlisted, or reportedly shortlisted on Liverpool's radar, is Villarreal's Pau Torres, Shakhtar Donetsk, Matvienko, RB Leipzig's Upamecano, obviously I'm sure that's most people's favourite, and also, oh no, that's it, in fact, yeah, that's it. But then there's been the links with Alaba and Garay and stuff. But they're apparently the main four targets that Liverpool are looking for. So I'm very interested to know what you've got to say. But anyway, we are moving in to the debate of the day because obviously it's a new thing that I've added to the Redmond Roundup, and I'd like to get you involved. So neutrals, Liverpool fans, please do get involved because I feel like this is a very spicy one today. Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres, who is better? Who was better for you? Who made you happier? Who got you off your seat more? Who made you just go, oh my God, What a fucking player. What a fucking baller. Who just made you go insane? I want to know that. I'm very interested because they were both amazing. Before I give you my answer, I've got to give them both a case because first off, let's just talk about Fernando Torres, childhood hero. Fucking absolute dream partnership with Steven Gerrard, and me growing up in that era, and that was when I really started grasping what football was, and I started watching it week in, week out. To see that partnership, and then you'd even have Xabi Alonso in that team, and besides right now, that was my greatest era of football, and Fernando Torres was a big reason for that. You never can forget the day that he sat Vidic on his arse like it was no man's land. That would never happen to Virgil van Dijk. Please, no one clip that if that does happen. Oh no, I mean in his prime that wouldn't happen, and Vidic was very much in his prime, and Torres sat him down like it was no man's fucking business, blood. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound like soups, but I'm getting excited just remembering, talking about how sick Fernando Torres is. Obviously, he never really won anything with Liverpool, at least from my knowledge. I don't think he won anything. That's why he moved to Chelsea, twat. But still, it's been a while since then. Anyway, talking about Luis Suarez, and we're only talking about what they done in the shirt. Did you even think half the things he did was even possible? Did you know that you could terror one team so bad? By the way, I'm sorry, Norwich fans. I couldn't believe it. I look forward to playing Norwich because I knew it was a guaranteed 3 points just because Suarez was playing. My man scored 31 goals in 13-14, missed the first 8 games of the season for biting Ivanovic the previous season. Literally hasn't bit anyone since as well, so whatever tooth he lost on that day must have knocked some sense into him. When it comes to choosing which player was better, because they both did have very similar avenues. Obviously, Suarez was a sort of replacement for Fernando Torres because it was Andy Carroll, but he was shit, so we brought in Luis Suarez. I'm very interested to know what you've got to say in the comments down below. If I had to edge someone, let me tell you first, if I had to say who I think the overall better player is, I've got to go with Luis Suarez. But if I'm talking about a personal connection with me, Fernando Torres, you've got to. El Nino! Come on, boys, do you know what I mean? You've got to back me with that in the comments down below if you were born in that. I mean, if you grew up when Suarez was in his prime at Liverpool, then fair enough, then you can give the same reason that I've just gave you. But that's why I'm going with Fernando Torres, and I really did like the idea of doing that debate, mate. I thought it was a fun one, and like I said, I'm just interested to hear what you think, and especially neutrals, because I feel like neutrals have a different perspective of club legends, you know what I mean? So definitely make sure you comment that down below. And before I do get into the Premier League predictions, make sure that you've checked out my 2 recent videos that were posted today. I posted the West Ham preview, lineup prediction, score prediction, and before that, I done a little one-off video talking about how I think Diogo Jota could one day, not now, one day replace Sadio Mane. So make sure that you go and check that out if you haven't already. Anyway, moving in to the final part of the video, and again, leave any questions and comments in the comments down below that you want me to answer in the next Redmond roundup. But we're going to be doing the Premier League predictions to make up for it. Now we've got Wolves and Crystal Palace to start off. That's actually kicking off in about an hour and will actually be live when this video is posted up. So I just want you to know I'm actually not cheating. Let me even show you that it's 7:25. I don't know if you can see that, but it's 7:25. And the game hasn't kicked off yet. Just so you know, I'm not cheating. I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Crystal Palace win. Wolves have just been very shaky recently. They don't really look like they've got a shape or a philosophy there. It looks like Nunes is losing his boys a little bit, and they just don't have that same fire and power. They don't have that same chemistry, whereas Crystal Palace and Roy Hodgson seem to have a bit more of a better shape. Obviously, it's going to be a difficult game away from home. I do feel like home teams still have a minor advantage, so I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Crystal Palace. Next game, which is tomorrow at 12 kickoff, Sheffield United and Manchester City. What a game. Great game, because you know what, mate? Sheffield United do have a point to prove. They're coming off a really difficult game against Liverpool, which they actually got a good result in. Regardless what you think about the penalty and all that, Ryan Brewster's going to have one more game in his belt on this one. Not an easy one when you're playing Manchester City, let me tell you. But they will be up for it, they will be confident. And Man City haven't been great recently, and I don't want to discredit all the quality they've got in that team, but you know the quality they've got in that team, so you have to highlight the bad, because look at the results they've been getting. They haven't been good enough. They're 13th in the league. I'm interested to see if Sheffield can nick something here. I think they possibly could. I don't ever think it's smart going for draws, because you lower your chances of getting one of them right. But I'm going to go with a draw, and I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. In fact, no, 1-1 draw, because Sheffield don't really score more than 1 goal in a game. 1-1 draw, because I think they'll be able to hold City off, I don't know if City will turn up, but they need to turn up. Let me know, City fans, what you think. But the next game anyway, Burnley and Chelsea, that's 3 o'clock kick-off. Chelsea have been able to get some wins recently. They don't look perfect, but they look like they're getting better. I feel like Werner, Havertz are getting more of a link-up. Ziyech is obviously back fit, which is always great. Burnley haven't been fantastic. I see a 3-0 win written all over this for Chelsea, even though it's away from home. But like I said, Burnley haven't been great. They're looking better. Yada, yada, yada. Let's move into the next one. Liverpool, West Ham. Go and check out my video previously for that. Aston Villa and Southampton. Obviously, Aston Villa getting their first arse kicking in however long. Do you know what I mean? You fucking deserve that. Coming up against a very tricky Southampton, who just beat Everton. Believe me, last weekend was very good for Liverpool. It's a good game because you don't want to still write off Villa just because they've lost once. You really, really don't. That's a very unsmart thing to do. They're at home as well. I feel like they could possibly nick this game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Aston Villa, even though Southampton and Danny Ings and Che Adams have been on fire. Newcastle and Everton. Everton away from home, Everton looking shaky since the international break. Can you believe it? I don't know who I'm going to go with here. I do think it can be a close game because Newcastle can turn up when they feel like it with Steve Bruce. They've got good players like St. Maximin who can certainly cause Everton's defence problems. But you have got to kind of give Everton the edge. So unless their momentum is completely broken, I'm going to go with an Everton win. And I'm going to say an Everton 2-0 win. I think they can keep a clean sheet, which is saying a lot with the fact they've got Pickford in goal and the defence isn't that great. Now we go into the biggest game of the weekend, which is easily Manchester United and Arsenal in terms of team for team. Both fans hate each other. There's so much history between the clubs, as we know as Premier League fans. I'm very excited for this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's actually looked a lot better, and I'm only saying I'm excited as a neutral, and obviously as a Liverpool fan, you know I want to win this game. Arsenal all day, mate, but Arsenal haven't looked great recently. Mikel Arteta actually looks like he's being found out a little bit, and he's sitting back a lot, which is very interesting. I'm interested to see if he puts Aubameyang in this game, and listen, Aubameyang is just that good of a striker, so even though he hasn't been scoring that much recently, you still can't write him off. Arsenal have just beat Dundalk in the Europa League, but it's Dundalk, they're an Irish team, and not to disrespect Irish teams, but Man United have just beat Leipzig 5-0 and PSG 2-1 and got a sound draw against Chelsea, which isn't ideal, but you can kind of see that 6-1 against Spurs is out the heads now, so I'm going to go with a 2-1 Manchester United win, as much as it kills me to always go for a Manchester United win, because they actually look good recently. Tottenham-Brighton, I like Brighton this season. I feel like they give teams challenges, but Tottenham needs a win. They've even just lost to fucking Antwerp in the Europa League. Bale's going to be hungry. Bale's going to be like, fuck all this, mate. I'm not having any of this. I'm going for a 1-0 win to Tottenham. I don't know if they will definitely get the clean sheet because Brighton always look good offensively. But obviously with Kane and Son, they're bound to get a goal, surely. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if I've just jinxed them. Fulham West Brom, kind of the bottom of table clash. So a big game for them. And a big game that could determine one of them going down by the end of the season. But I think both of them will go down. Let me know in the comments down below who you think out of them will. I'll edge West Brom. I think they've got a little bit more quality than Fulham. I feel like they've got a bit more togetherness than Fulham. So I think they can get the job done. Do you know what? 3-2. I'm going for a high-scoring game. I haven't gone for one this weekend. And then the final game, a very saucy one. Leeds United and Leicester City. I feel like there's just more big Premier League games this season. Do you feel like that? Because I do. I'm going to say Leicester City 2-1. Because Leeds United are kind of on their high right now. And the way it usually works is Aston Villa got their high. Leeds took them off the pitch. And then I feel like now it could be a possibility that Leicester kind of climb back up there and knock Leeds off their pitch. So I'm going to go with, I'm not sure if I've just said a score, but a 2-1 win to Leicester, 100%. But they're my predictions for the Premier League. That's all the news is round up. That's everything done. Redmond rounds up in one day, a preview in one day, and even a video this morning. So like I said, if you haven't saw them, go and check them out. Thank you again for everyone who subscribed, everyone who's liked, everyone who supported, and thank you very much for watching this video. Be sure you like, be sure you subscribe, and I will see you all later. Ta-ra.